Hey there. This is a review of my first week milestone, and essentially what I've done this week is I was able to get some things done. So I'm gonna log in and show you what I did. So originally at the beginning of the week, I had a hard time figuring out why there was only 10 items being retrieved, and now I have more than 10 being viewed, which is important because before I could go to the table and I could see that there was more than 10 items here, but it would only show 10 over here, which was a problem. So I got that fixed by rewriting the query function, which would be over here in one of these files. Which one am I thinking of? Okay, right here. Okay, so I rewrote this function, which is essentially taking in the table that I choose, or the organization that I choose, and then it's taking in the table that I choose, and it's setting the limit to 9,999 that it will respond with, which for that column. Um, so that's important, and I didn't know that there was a pre-set limit the databases use, so that now it's retrieving more than 10 items, which is good. So that was on my to-do list this week. Another thing that I've been doing is, get back in my phone, um, is that when you scan an item, you can enter in a quantity of that item, and then you can also choose a category for that item to go underneath. And this took a little bit of time because I had to figure out how I was going to plan this out. And the way I did that was I created a test to make sure that everything was going to work the way I wanted it to, and then I applied it into my actual code. And essentially what's going to happen now is once I sketched everything out and then kind of started to implement things, it's not completely finished yet, but it should be here pretty soon. I got a good start on it once everything was planned out. So here are the hard-coded data array values that you can categorize things, and this is just for testing purposes. This won't be there at the very end. I'll have more defined categories of items that you can place things under. So this is some of the code that I used for the picker wheel, which is what that scroll wheel is called in Swift. And essentially what I'm going to be doing is over here in the inventory data. Right now I'm just retrieving the name on the table view, and that is the name of the item that's being returned from the barcode scan, and then it's placed on the table view. And now I'm going to be putting a category name with it and then putting it next to it. So down here is an example of the cell text label, which is essentially the label of text that is, taken from the table on Cloud Boost, and it's taking that and it's putting it on the row. And right now I am working on putting that item name, which was originally there, and now I'm going to be putting in the category name next to it, like with a dash, and that is going to be retrieved from another. I haven't done this yet, but it's going to be another column here. So every time you log in and you go to, let me show you. Um, so every time you log in, spell. Every time you log in, you choose your organization, and then right here, let's say Hershey's for example, it'll say Hershey's, and then that will be categorized as whatever the original intent of it was. So if you wanted to choose, let's say just for kicks and giggles, you wanted to categorize Hershey's as breakfast, then it would show up because it would be captured here when the item is scanned, and then the quantity and all that information. It's going to be captured here, and then it's going to go over here to the table and add it as another column. So this will say category up here. And then I'm going to put that in the table view that you see like Hershey's, and then it'll say breakfast next to it. And eventually, these are going to be more hierarchy categories, but right now I'm just trying to get the main functionality down. So it'll say something like, canned foods, for example, at the top, and then all the items underneath canned foods that have been categorized over here will line up underneath it, and you can filter different ways. So breakfast, cleaning, random, other. Those will be options for people to categorize things as. And that was a big part of my week. I've also had about a day's worth of struggles with GitHub. I think we talked about that earlier this week, and now I'm just going to throw it on a flash drive every day because GitHub messed me up. And I'm still looking into doing the storm path functionality. That might happen this next week. I hope to get some of that done. I've been basically just working on trying to figure out the most efficient way to get the categories done. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos and how people have been doing it, but the way that I'm doing it with a table, it's going to be a lot easier to do it the way that I'm doing it rather than the way that they're doing it, because they're hard coding everything, and it's not going to be as flexible. So this is my first week milestone, and I'll talk to you later. Thank you.